Good evening, dear friends. I hope you are all audible now. Today, I'm going to take some of the issues related to current environmental science. I hope you have understood well so that the importance of this environmental science. So, some of the hot topics of today we will discuss here is the expert committee reports on environmental protection. See, because environmental science it deals with all kind of nature and its activities and the ongoing scenario and the problems faced by the environment is also very important. ಸೊ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಪರಿಸರ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗಿನ ಸಮಯ ಘಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪರಿಸರದ ಬಗ್ಗಿನ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ತಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸಹ ಒಂದು. So this expert committee, why they have made important? So the expert committee they have made because of the protection of environment and its importance, and also they have established a national green tribunal and its importance, and also the Gadgil report. The importance of Gadgil reports that we will see here, and Kasturi Rangan committee report, and also some of the issues of river valley and hydroelectric projects and coastal ecosystem protection, and also some of the few current problems of environmental science and their causes and conflicts related to human and animal conflicts, and also some of the issues like national solar mission and river linking projects, corals, and how forest fire occur. All these we will discuss in this class today. So this is the outline of this class. See, India has adopted many issues and also many laws related to environmental science. So because nowadays, so they are very important. So because without law implementation, we cannot control any problems. ಸೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಪರಿಸರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಕಾನೂನುಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೀರಬಾರದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಇವು ಕಾಯ್ದೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಜಾರಿಗೆ ತಂದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ acts like Water Act, so 1974, and Air Act 1981, and Environmental Protection Act 1986. So these are all the few important acts under this environmental law. And also we have established the National Green Tribunal. So National Green Tribunal, why we are established, why and what is the importance of this, we understand. See, the National Green Tribunal is a specialized body. So under the Act of National Green Tribunal Act 2010. So what it do? This tribunal, so it will make effective and expeditious disposal of cases that are related to protection and conservation of environment, forest, and other natural resources. And this National Green Tribunal, we have some five regions we have identified. We established some of the regions like Bhopal, Pune, New Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai. So their offices are there. So anyone can approach related to environment and its problems if any clarification is required against any law or against any industry or anyone, and also and against to the government also. And this National Green Tribunal so occupies the important committee, like one chairperson and judicial members will be there, and some of the expert members. Who are all the expert members? These expert members, they're all from either environmental science and or technology and engineering background, so and so. So these are the some of the few important aspects of this National Green Tribunal. And then, if you come to the what are the powers we have given to the National Green Tribunal? So we have given the powers. So, like we, as I mentioned, the five cities we have mentioned. So, in that jurisdiction, so anyone can go and then so they can seek any solutions for this to resolve any problems, and it helps the reduction of the litigation that burden on environmental matters in higher courts. So, and also NGT, it takes immediate decisions, and also it curb environmental damaging activities because the faster actions will be there, so that the problems will be get resolved soon. And also it resolves various civil cases related to environmental laws like water pollution, air pollution, and Water Cess Act, and then the Forest Act, uh, Environmental Protection Act, Public Liability Insurance Act, Biological Diversity Act, etc. So these are the main laws this NGT will look after, and it gives a decision. And also this Environmental Tribunal Act, so who appoints the chairperson, and then who appoints the NGT members? So this the central government will appoint the NGT chairman, and then the NGT members will be selected by the selection committee. It is formed by the central government, and also so they have some of the committees to look after wherever cases, and some of the cases important cases are already recorded and have been get resolved in 2017. Some Shailesh Singh versus Shailesh Sheila Hospital and Trauma Center, so and also and others. So this issue was non-compliance of the provisions of biomedical waste management rules under the 2016 guidelines. So that tribunal, so it reserved the case, and also they directed the states that is liable to pay some compensation of so many rupees to the whoever the affected people. And also some of the examples are lakes in Bangalore. So some Mr. Smaran Shetty and is the advocate. So he has filed a complaint in the National Green Tribunal. So who are the responsible respondents here? The So he made some of the allegations against Central Pollution Control Board, and the representative advocate will look after this, and also the NGT has resolved this issue. So like that, so National Green Tribunal is very important in resolving the issues related to the environmental problems. And then next we will see the Gadgil report. So you have heard Madhav Gadgil. So he is a renowned ecologist. So the government of India established one committee. So just we call it as Gadgil committee. So this Madhav Gadgil, so who appointed as a chairman of this committee to look after this the whole entire Western Ghats, and then to give the solutions to restore this sensitive zone. So as you know that the Western Ghats is a very sensitive area, and it starts from the uh, Tapti River near the border of Gujarat and Maharashtra to Kanyakumari, and the southernmost tip of India in Tamil Nadu, covering almost 6 states: Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. So the length of this Western Ghats, entire Western Ghats, it is around 1,600 kilometers. So to see that what are all the problems arised in the Western Ghats, and how to cope of the problems, and also to restore the ecology of these sensitive zones. So that Madhav Gadgil committee so established as Western Ghats ecology expert panel. So this panel, so it looked after the whole Western Ghats. So this the throughout this Western Ghat is identified as the ecologically sensitive zone. And Madhav Gadgil committee so divided these Western Ghats into mainly three regions based on its sensitivity: ecologically sensitive zone 1, and ecologically sensitive zone 2, and then ecologically sensitive zone 3. And then what are all the these sensitive zones? So this sensitivity zone based on the guidelines of some of the sensitivity in that area. So the panel was formed with the some of the mandates. So what are those mandates? So here is to assess current status of ecology of Western Ghats region. So what is the current scenario? How much forest is existing? And then what are all the problems arising there? So the current status of that ecology of this entire Western Ghats. And also demarcate areas to recommend notification of areas within that Western Ghat region as ecologically sensitive zones under Environmental Protection Act 1986. As we know that Environmental Protection Act 1986 is an umbrella act. So under this, many issues we can cope up. So based on this act, the recommendation of this state governments, National Board for Wildlife and other reports they have quoted. And to make recommendations of the conservation, protection and rejuvenation of Western Ghats region involving the people. So what are all the sensitive zones? So where the peoples are located, and then what are the problems they are facing, and what the forests are facing, so and vice versa. So like that, so this committee, so it is identified state-wise distribution of approved special economic zones. So, what are these special economic zones? So, formal approvals and to provide approvals, and also it is notified as special economic zones, and the exporting SEZs as central government plus state government and private lands. So, they are all notified under the uh, economic sensitive zones or Special Economic Zones Act 2005. So these are all the states involved in that distribution of these special economic zones in these Western Ghats. And after assessing all this, so the Godgill committee had given some recommendations. It designated the entire hill ranges as ecologically sensitive areas. So, based on the sensitivity, so what is the sensitivity exactly? How fragile it is? So, because forests are very sensitive, once it is disturbed, to cope up or to become a natural virginal forest, it is not possible. Even if it is possible, it takes hundreds of years. So that's why these forests are the very sensitive areas. So this committee has classified the 142 talukas in that Western Ghats boundary into economic special zones into three categories like ESZ1, ESZ2, and then ESZ3. So, what is ESZ1? So, ESZ1 being a high priority, almost all developmental activity like mining, thermal power plants, and were restricted in that zone. So because the highest sensitivity, no industrial activity can be come up in this area. So that's what the Madhav Gadgil committee has recommended. And the new large scale storage dams cannot be permitted in these sensitive zones. So as Gundia in Karnataka and Adirapalli in Kerala, so these hydro power plants, so they have come under these zones. So he raised this issue. Because of this, so the Western Ghats region, whatever it is coming in the ESZ1, so the effect will be there. And the present system of governance, if the government should be changed, it's asked for bottom approach, top up So Kasturi Rangan report, so it is stressed that some of the aspects of the sensitivity of the area. So he made 66% of this area as 66% area as heritage and other small large landscape, and so that only 37% of this area, so he considered as biologically rich or biodiversity rich area. And then so whatever the activities that has to be stopped only in this special or sensitivity zones. So and then Kasturi Rangan, he said that so it is a blanket present perception approach of this Gadgil committee, so it may be harmful to the economy because what Gadgil said, so the entire Western Ghats, it has to be uh, made as ecologically sensitive zones 1, 2, 3. But Kasturi Rangan report, he argued that so it may curb the economic uh, uh, benefits out of this Western Ghats. So he recommended just some of the environmental friendly, sustainable agricultural practices, methods that are adopted by Kodagu. So as he has given as a model. So and then we can go for some of the developmental activity under this 66% area. So this report emphasized on providing incentives for green growth in the Western Ghat area. And what Kasturi Rangan report recommended. Kasturi Rangan report, he has mentioned that so mining, quarrying, sand mining, thermal power plants, township, and area development projects. So they're all coming under the red industries. So as per the notification of Ministry of Environment and Forest, so they are all coming under the red category industries. These industries should be banned in this area. And hydroelectric power projects, so that were based only on those places where they have a standard ecological flow of 30%. So otherwise, these also should be restricted. And cumulative impact assessment for hydroelectric power projects of India are also he recommended. And the other category of industries, so that can come up here, so that may not be banned, but a careful process and production techniques that has to be prioritized, given priority in this area intersection. And infrastructure projects like roads and other things, so it can uh, it can be approved in this area. Railway transport systems have to be carefully planned, keeping it in mind that so there should be no any negative impacts on this flora and fauna. And also, so he had made that eco-friendly tourism or ecotourism. So he recommended for this kind of ecotourism here in Western Ghats. So extension of entry 20 of the current list, like economic planning, to consider environmental concern as a part of the planning. in this entire Western Ghats. So, however, the Kasturi Rangan committee report also made faced some of the criticisms. So, what are the criticisms it came for this? So, incursion by planters, mining activities, and dwellings has related in loss of biodiversity, and experts are divided in their opinion over treating the entire Western Ghat region as a homogeneous entity, despite micro level differences, calling for ground verification. Because the entire Western Ghat itself it is a green area, so it should not be a discriminated because all these coming under ecologically sensitive areas. So difference of opinion on cardamom cultivation being it is in eco-friendly by a certain section of experts. So what may be the effect of this cardamom growing? And there is not much emphasis on capacity building among traditional dwellers, so who are really living in the forest or near the forest communities, and if possible dilution of administrative power and the role of Gram Sabha as a decision making body as at grassroots level. So that's what Gadgil also suggested. But here it is criticized here in Kasur Rangan report also. So both the committees differed in their approach. So protest by various grassroots stakeholders across different states against the recommendation of this report. So that's why still these committee reports are pending with the government to implement the recommendations. So these are the very important reports you have to understand, and you have to keep it in mind. And then we'll go some of the projects and their importances, and river valley and hydroelectric project, multi-purpose river valley projects. So there are water resources projects planned for irrigation and hydropower generation, and also to supply as a drinking purpose and also for the industrial purpose, and also river linking are, so it is to control the flood in some of the areas, and also it can be used as a navigation for approaching different distances. So these are projects serving more than a single purpose, and because it is also based on the economy of a development of a country. So that's why so these projects are also important. It is commonly observed that the multi-purpose river projects in India, it is a combination of both irrigation as well as hydropower. We have seen in the recent times the state-owned hydroelectric power giant NHPC, National Hydroelectric Power Corporation Limited. So it had a giant venture from this NHPC for implementing a 850 megawatt hydro project in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So we have many hydroelectric and river valley projects. So are implemented in India like Bhakra Nangal project. So in Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan, So it is India's biggest multi-purpose river valley project, and the Chambal project. So it is present in both Madhya Pradesh and as well as in Rajasthan. So in the first stage, the Gandhi Sagar Dam is capacity to establish 115 megawatt power. So and also followed by Rana Pratap Sagar, and the third stage they have included the Jawahar Sagar Dam for this Chambal project. And also we can see Koina project. It is in Maharashtra, and Damodar Valley project. It is in West Bengal and Jharkhand, and Farakka barrage. So it consists of across this Ganga in Farakka, and also in the barrage of Jangipur. And also Hirakud Dam, so that is present in Odisha. Indira Gandhi Canal, it is present in Rajasthan, and Nagarjun Sagar in Andhra Pradesh, and it's for Krishna River. And then Rihan project, so it is present in Uttar Pradesh. And Ranjit Sagar Dam, it is present in Punjab. And Tungabhadra Electric Project, it is in Karnataka, and also Hakrapara Project, present in Gujarat. And these are all the some of the hydroelectric power projects. So we are implemented to generate electricity, and we are both using for both irrigation as well as for electricity generation. So what are the major challenges of these projects we are facing? So the challenges in flood control due to the change in nature of rainfall over the catchment areas. So because when the rainfall occurs, it will naturally it flows across the catchment area. So it may cause some of the flood damages. And issues shrinking storage capacity in the reservoir during the flood, because lot of sediment load will be there. So because of the sediment load, so the depth will become less, and then the capacity of that reservoir may go down. And also the capacity of this power generation also we have to see because of these aspects. So, because for any hydroelectric power plant, so we need to keep or maintain a steady flow and a downstream irrigation. So both we have to keep it in mind. So, but what happens due to irregular rainfalls and then irregular flow of water? So, this may not be possible to achieve. So, multi-purpose river projects in India, so they served for many purposes. So that is maybe development of our environment and displacement has yielded results in across countries, ensuring irrigation, power generations. Okay, so like power projects like Damodar Valley Corporation, Bakranangal, Hirakud, and more recent Rajasthan Canal have done more good than harm to the environment and contributed to the growth of the infrastructure. And so we will next the problem we will see the coastal ecosystem protection. So what are all the coastal ecosystems? The coastal ecosystems are the areas where land and water is joined to create an environment with a distinct structure, because when the water and land is together, So the entire diversity and the flow of energy it get changed. So and also because of this different kind of land and water, and also where fresh water is coming into the sea, and so estuary will be there. So and where some salt content will be there, salt marshes will be there, and mangroves, and some of the areas we see the wetlands. So wetlands, so wherever the moisture content, the sediments will be there. So there we can see a different kind of biodiversity in these areas. So here, if you see some of the distinct features in these areas, so that's why the coastal has been defined as the an administrative, physical, environmental units are simply based on fixed distance from the shore. So from the shore, so how much it occupies. So that area is considered as the coastal areas. So in India, coastal ecosystems are now highly disturbed, and they are threatened, and also facing some of the problems of environmental pollution, and also silt is deposited, and a lot of soil erosion will be there, and flooding of saltwater intrusion into the groundwater, and storm surges and other activities. So like the disturbance in the human settlements, all this we see. So these are all the general problems we facing in India. So under the Environmental Protection Act 1986, so this zone is notified as coastal regulation zones by the Ministry of Environment and Forest in 1991. So when this is notified by the Union government, so it directed the coastal states. So wherever the coastal zone is there, so to prepare say, coastal zone management plans with the high tide line of identifying 500 from the high tide line. So what is the high tide line? So high tide line is nothing but, so when the waves comes, so at any point of time, so wherever it reaches, and in any season, so the upper limit is called as the high tide line. So from there, so 500 meter, so they consider as the regulation line, or you can say the boundary. So that is classified as a coastal area. So between this area, so again, so in this notification, this area is divided as coastal regulation zone 1, and regulation zone 2, and regulation zone 3, and regulation zone 4. So what exactly the coastal regulation zone 1 it says? So here in coastal regulation zone 1, so it is an ecologically sensitive areas, because it is in areas of extraordinary natural beauty, and so here in this coastal regulation zone 1, so no activity is allowed, either construction of industry, or construction of a hotel or a restaurant, or any kind of activity is prohibited in this zone, because it is very near to the tidal zone. So that's why, so it has notified, so it is a restricted, highly restricted zones. And whereas in coastal zone 2, The coastal stretches of urban and developed areas are categorized under this coastal regulation zone 2. So here both in coastal regulation zone 1 and 2, so buildings are permitted on the landward side of the existing structures. So that has given only options here, otherwise everything is restricted. And whereas coastal regulation zone 3, so where no construction is permitted up to 200 meter from the high tide low line. So here, so no industry can come up there or no any construction. And in coastal regulation zone 4, all islands they have been put under this CRZ 4. So like Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar Islands and any other small islands are falls under these zones. And so what are all the problems facing here? So we have to go for solutions or integrated coastal management. So here, so we have to integrate the programs and plans for economic development, environmental quality management and land use, integration of programs of our sectors such as flood production, food production, our energy, transportation, water resources, waste disposal, and tourism. So those are all we have to keep it in mind. So we have to integrate that one, all the responsibility for various tasks for management among the both local as well as state government and central government, like local level and regional level and national level and even at international level. So that's how we have to integrate and we have to find the solution for making these coastal areas can see keep it as safe. And next we will see some of the current issues we are facing uh, in the environment. So, like man-animal conflicts, also one among this problem. So here, man-wildlife conflict, it is referred as a negative interaction between humans and wildlife. So because so wherever the intervention of these wild animals into the locality, so it results in losses either in their life or maybe life of the cattle or maybe the resources like crops and other it will be damaged because of this wildlife conflicts. So, due to increasing human population and developmental activities, so we are encroaching these natural habitats. So, like forests and grasslands, so where they are rich in biodiversity, we are converting them into agriculture land. So, due to this, all over the world, human wildlife conflicts are occurring. So, Worldwide Fund for Nature. It is defined as human wildlife conflict as any interaction between human and wildlife that results in negative impacts of human, social, economic, or current or cultural life on the conservation of wildlife population or on the environment. So that we can call it as human animal conflict or human wildlife conflict. So that's why we have created this human wildlife conflict task force. So as part of the Union for conservation of nature, and so that is main IUCN. So it gives some of the suggestions for this. So why these human wildlife conflicts occur? So because as I said, we are encroaching the natural habitats. So like we are converting the forest into agricultural land. So then the animals, it is then their habitat. So they are facing the problem of reduction in the locality or its own space. And also we are occupying the forest area, it is shrinking. The population of this, we cannot survive within that patch of the forest. So that's why so they come out of this habitat, and then so they will either in the search of food or in search of water or any other thing. So because of some of the incidents like increasing human population and biodiversity rich areas, interaction between humans and wildlife are becoming common nowadays. So due to habitat reductions, as I said, so the wildlife is coming out of this natural habitat, and then killing, hunting and chasing activities will be there. So thereby these conflicts arises. So if you take for example, so between year 2000, 1920 and 2021, so we can see the conflicts of about 585 in the year to 1920, 461 in 2021, and then 533, 21, 22 by elephants only. And the elephant deaths because of the train hits, railway line wherever goes in the forest, 19, 14, 12, like that, these incidents have been also reported. Elephant deaths by electrocution. So because electricity fencing will be there, the fencing, electric fencing. So because of that, the death of elephants also occur like 81, 75, 6 and 65 respectively in these 3 years. So elephant deaths by poaching only 6, 9, 14 in these areas we have seen. And elephant deaths by poisoning, so 6, 9, 14 in these periods. So like that we can see some of the human and elephant conflicts in India. So only for these 3 years. And also not only that, humans also killed by elephants. So that is counted about 1,580 humans in India in 3 years have been died because of these elephants. So of which there were 585 deaths in 1920, 461 in 2021, and 533 in 21, 22. So likewise, so these conflicts arise because of the shrinkage of the forest area and other thing. And human tiger conflicts. So there are many incidents nowadays where tigers are killed, and and also human killed the tigers. So these are also due to the same reasons, the shrinkage of the wildlife habitat, and animals are coming out of this habitat, so in search of either food or water. So like that. So just you can see that statistics here. So 50, 44, and 50 humans human kills by tigers. So like natural death of tigers, like 44, 20, and 4 only reported. So not the entire year we have taken here. And tiger deaths by poaching 1788 and 4. And tiger deaths due to unnatural activity. So 3 it's very less. Tiger deaths under scrutiny. So that means we have not known what is the reason. So like that, it is itself 20 to 71, 104. So these are all the conflicts we are seeing in natural habitats. So how to mitigate these human wildlife conflicts? So in many ways we can mitigate these conflicts. So by involving the local communities, especially so in the planning as well as in the implementation and also in the maintenance. So what are all those? So when translocation of problematic animals, so the problematic animals can be shifted from that area to new location, and it is the one of the mitigation technique. So thereby we can mitigate this conflict. And construction of barriers or fences, and also we are making the corridors. So barriers means construction of walls, and then or fences, and corridors means where the wildlife either under the bridge or above the bridge, so they can pass from one stretch of the forest to the other stretch without coming across to the either road or to the railway line. So like that, so by construction of these corridors, so wildlife corridors, we can minimize the these conflicts. And of course, whoever the death due to conflicts, the government is giving some of the compensation. So either because of the loss of life or loss of domestic animals or cattle or loss of crops or any other agricultural production. So for all this, the government is supporting and compensation. But with this, the local peoples, they are not satisfied with the compensation given by the government. And predator deterring guard dogs. So use of guard dogs to protect the livestock from depredation, and it is a very effective method. So where we can avoid this wildlife approaching into the locality. And there are some of the international communities, so they are looking for this uh, to minimize these conflicts, to integrate human wildlife coexistence as a goal or target in CBD 2050. That is Convention on Biological Diversity. It is going to be held in 2050. So within that 250 to 2050, we have to see that so integration of human and wildlife coexistence. And also it is also a vision in one of the sustainable development goals framework uh, in the international level. And national regional government authorities, so they have to provide funds and some financial support for the programs to mitigate these conflicts in that local area. And also to roll out nationwide human wildlife conflict, so like monitoring and educating the people, and also to see the impacts, and also to give solutions to the locals. So these are all the some of the ground realities we have to go in national and regional levels. And private sectors, they can demonstrate the benefits of human wildlife conflicts minimization, so in value chains. And also they should to rethink the development of projects that will result in the worsening of the conflict situation, especially in places where human wildlife conflict can be managed. And also to develop some of the innovations and adopt practices like restoring the natural habitats and its connectivity corridors. These are the important strategies to mitigate or minimize the human wildlife conflict. So, and also some of the other projects. So we will understand, like a national solar mission. So it is an initial initiative of central government and the state government to promote solar power. So the mission is one of the several policies of the national action plan on climate change. So this program was inaugurated by the Jawaharlal Nehru uh, National Solar Mission by former Minister Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, on 11th January 2010, with a target of 20 gigawatt power generation by 2022. So later on, so it is increased to the 100 gigawatt by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015 in the Union Budget of India. So it is increased its utility solar power generation capacity nearly 5 times from 2,650 megawatt in 2014 to 12 lakh to uh, 1,22,883 megawatt in 2007. So like that, so we keep on increasing its capacity overall in India. So you can see this growth of utilities installed solar capacity in India. It is gradually increasing day by day. And so, how to take this benefit from this solar mission? So, constructioning of rooftop solar capacities and also domestic content complaint we can see. So, like that, we can improve this and we can harvest this solar energy for all kind of purposes. And river linking projects. So what are all the crux of this river linking projects? So the Indian rivers interlink is a proposed large scale civil emerging project that aims to effectively manage water resources in India. So to see the to curb the drought and also to decrease the floods and also to manage the shortage of drinking water in India. And so here we have seen that around 4,000 cubic kilometers rainfall annually. So about 1 million gallons of fresh water per person every year is required. So to cope up this, the water availability is not enough. And also because of this river valley projects, ecological and environmental issues arise. Some activities and scholars have in the 2002 and 8, so they have questioned the merits of these Indian rivers linking projects and questioned if appropriate study and benefits and risk to environment is required. So like that, so they have given the solutions, and then so these are all some of the benefits we can see. So these are all the main water transfer links. So we have identified in India, and then so you can see in the peninsular component. So Mahanadi and Godavari and Krishna, and Godavari Krishna in different places. Krishna Pennar and Krishna Pennar. Okay, so like Pennar Kaveri, and then Kaveri to Vagai, Kundar, Cain and Betway. So these are all the some of the river links. So where we can benefit the water and and also to link the rivers, to curb the drought, and to manage the flood, and also to facilitate the drinking water for all the. Uh, so, what are all the ecological environmental issues here? So, because of this, so much of land, agricultural land, maybe forest, so it has to be cut down. So, these are all the some of the problems it is facing here now. And the last problems we see the mass coral bleaching. So what is coral? So corals are two-layered invertebrates that lives in a groups and are related to either jellyfish and sea anemones, etc. So they are all made up of some tiny individuals called polyps. So polyps, each polyp is like a fluid-filled bag with a ring of tentacles surrounding its mouth and looks like a tiny anemone. So polyps are within the colony are linked by living tissues and can share their food. So in some corals, the polyps extract calcium carbonate from the sea and secretes it is a cup of calcium carbonate from the bottom half of its body. So that much of we can extract calcium carbonate here. So likewise, so these are all the some of the examples of these corals. So they are all very economically important. So some of them are having a very good medicinal properties and also and these corals are very sensitive in the marine water. So these are all different types of corals: massive form, columnar form, and encrusting form, and tabular form, etc. We can see here, and even we can see that corals are it is just like a deposition, and after that the islands will be created. So that we call it as a coral island. So like that, so these corals play a very important reefs. So these coral reefs support human lives and livelihood, and livelihoods are and they are very important economically. So nearly 500 million people they are directly depend on these or indirectly they depend on these corals for their livelihoods, either food and other resources. So, because several species they are used as a traditional Chinese medicine, and many are now providing several resources for allopathic medicine. So that's why. So they are extracting, and because of the pollution, the threats will be there for these corals. And the corals threat, as we know that because of the either pollution or sea level rise or some of the human activities, and then increasing in temperature. So because when increasing in the temperature, these corals will be bleached away, and then so their number will be decreased. Like El Nino, as you know, in the Peru region, so where the temperature variation it causes the bleaching of this coral, and also as we see these effects of uh, sea level rise is also another important aspects to bleach these corals away. And the other important one is the forest fire. So just I will the last one we will discuss this and we will finish this session. Forest fires poses a threat to forest wealth and disturb the biodiversity, ecology, and environmental region. So, as the Himalayan forest, and to be more specific, either Garbal Himalaya or Central Himalayas, we can say. So, and also here in southern region, Western Ghats, so we see forest fire. So, recently in Bandipur, so there was a huge forest fire was there. So many animals and so many trees were burnt, and a loss of lives of these wild animals we have seen. So these are all very threat for the environment. And some of the types of forest fires are surface fire, so where it burns only at the surface level, and underground fire. So because wherever litter is there, that litter will burn on the ground, so it flow like that. And the ground floor, so only these wherever the fires, substances, organic fuels such as duff layers, so in they will burn. These are all in different areas as depending on the case. So what are the causes? Natural causes, because when two trees rub, like mainly the bamboo, or through lightning, okay, and uh, these forest fires arises. And human, most of the forest fire is human induced sources, burning, and because of the burning, so they wanted to grow the grass for their cattle or sheep or anyone, so they will intentionally they will burn that area. And also going for a trip and burning campfiring and picnics, okay. So careless throwing of cigarettes and other smoking disposals, so the fire may occur. And the effects, as you know, so lot of biodiversity will be lost, both plants as well as animals, so that causing the death of these animals. And how to manage this forest? So there are different activities to make a fire line, so to separate this forest and a burning line, and also to avoid these any unwanted plants they grow. And then the burnt plants are the age old plant, so the dried plant. So likewise, we can manage, and then better prevention than control. So prevention, creating forest fire lines, training and demonstration publicly. So then they are also can involve in uh, prevention and detection, construction of watchtowers, network wireless sets, finders, fire finders. We can see keep there to see the forest fire, and then we can take immediate action. And then how to suppress? So hand tools, fire resistant clothing, and fire tenders we have to implement in that area. So in this way we can avoid this forest fire. So these are all the some of the aspects we have covered in this entire class. So I hope we have well thoroughly with this class. I hope if you have anything, just you leave a message, and then we will definitely we will listen, and then we will give you. And this video will be available in your YouTube link always, so and you can have a chat, and then wherever if you see, so we can answer there itself. Okay. So thank you for everyone for listening to my class. Thank you very much.